Welcome to another In Wheel Time podcast, a 30-minute mini version of the In Wheel Time car show that airs live every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central. From the Smoke and Mirrors Network, it's the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Coming up, we talk with Alan Rudolph with Speedsportz Racing Park and Academy. I got to drive the 2023 Lexus ES 350. I'm excited to tell you all about it. We'll also have the cruise-in calendar Conrad has this week in auto history, and I'll bring you the stories making automotive news headlines just ahead on this hour of the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We always need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Thanks so much for joining us on this Saturday. Our last hour of our show. Our show normally airs from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. every Saturday morning in the live version. And then we do podcasts, and Mars takes care of all of the rebroadcasting of all the segments and stuff like that. So thank you, Mr. Mars, for your duty.
It's a duty.
It's a duty. I said duty on the radio. Alan Rudolph is a legend. I'm going to read this because I think it's very well written, and I think that it kind of explains who Alan is, and we all need to know who Alan is. Alan Rudolph is a legend in the karting community, the winner of multiple awards. Alan has stood on the podium in all disciplines of karting, including sprint, road racing, and oval, most notably five-time SKUSA King of the Streets. He was multiple championships under his belt and is the recipient of the Dan Weldon Ambassador to Karting Award and was recently voted into the inaugural class of the SKUSA Hall of Fame. Alan has trained well-known drivers who went on to be professional careers in driving, including NASCAR driver Chase Elliott. Alan is a fiercely competitive guy, championship-winning race driver, and brings expertise and experience to Houston, Texas through Speedsportz Racing Park and the Alan Rudolph Racing Academy. Alan, it's a pleasure to have you with us today. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate that.
Well, that's quite an impressive resume that you've got there. Tell me where Speedsportz Racing Park is.
We're actually in New Caney, Texas, just north of Kingwood off of 59 and 242. So just 30 minutes from downtown, 20 minutes from the Woodlands, perfectly located.
And that thing was built, I remember flying over it, a couple years ago, 3 years ago?
Believe it or not, it's approaching 7 years now.
Oh, well, there you go.
Time flies.
Apparently it does. So 7 years now. And do you rent go-karts up there?
Kind of do it all, to be honest. I have, if you've seen the layout of the facility, it's two separate racetracks. One is primarily for open to the public rental carts, so arrive and drive, we call it. I do a lot of corporate groups and stuff. So yesterday we had a group of 50 people that did a buyout of the facility and rode our rental carts and had lunch and beer and wine after. And so that's all happens on the rental tracks.
We were kind of hoping that the beer and wine would precede
the
racing.
Yeah.
No.
Drinking and driving going on here. But that's on the rental side. So day-to-day burn over there is just open to the public Wednesday through Sunday. And then, like on Saturdays, we open at noon. We go to 10 p.m. Sundays, noon to 6. And so you can just come bring family, friends, whatever, and ride our rental carts. And then the other track is what we refer to as our pro track. And that's open to members who have their own go-karts. And as you alluded to in your original email to me, we do car stuff too. So we do drifting now, and the Portrait Club is going to be here today doing autocross. It's a unique way, if you know anything about autocross is generally done in a big empty parking lot with a bunch of cones. So instead they treat our track like an autocross, and it honestly works out way better than being on a cone course.
Well, I will tell you that I have done autocross, and for the most part, it's a first gear kind of thing. But I'll tell you what, it certainly does test your driving skills, getting around those cones as fast as you can without spinning out or making horrible mistakes and running over cones and making a fool of yourself is basically it.
Yeah.
So do you, on those kind of things where, you bring your own car, let's just say the Corvette Club comes out and they want to run. I don't know anything about autocrossing, and do you supply or would you ride with somebody like me that doesn't know anything about it?
I have done that in the past, do a little coaching. There's a particular car club that comes out once a month called Track Casual. And some of those guys want me to do a little right seat driving with them for some coaching, and I do that. But in general, like this Porsche Club, they run the show. They come and rent the track from me for the day, and they set up their own little timing system and keep track. Autocross is a timed event, so they set all that up. I'm really hands off on that type of stuff. Same with the drifting.
And you said that the club that you had out recently, you served them lunch and wine and beer and had a great time. Is that pretty typical of what you offer up there?
Yeah, on the rental track side of things, the open to the public rental carts. Like I said, that's a Wednesday through Sunday event,
right?
And people come out and race and have a beer, glass of wine afterwards, or whatever. Can make kind of I don't say a day of it, but some people hang out here for 2 or 3 hours, get some go-kart racing in, and have fun doing it. And just recently, 2 weeks ago, a food truck court opened up right across the street. So it's a really unique environment where, people can come hang out, go to the food truck. It's called the Food Zone. They can go there and have lunch and come over here and ride go-karts. So
how fun. So what kind of rental carts do you have? Not that I would know the name brand of them, but give me a little background on the rental carts.
Yeah, so they're not your typical. When you think about go-karting is when you say go-karts, both on the rental kart side and on the racing side, if you're not familiar with the stuff, when you say go-karts, people are like, oh, yeah, I have, a yard cart. I got a go-kart in my yard I ride around. It's nothing like that. Or, typical amusement park ride go-kart where you can put your kid next to you and you don't wear a helmet and they go about 20 miles an hour. That's not what these are. These are rental carts that are open to the public, go about 40 or 45 miles an hour.
Wow, that's fast when you got your butt about an inch off the ground.
Yeah, we like to say they're faster than the track, so you actually have to slow down for some of the corners. You cannot go full gas all the way around or you'll fly off the tracks. It's just a much different experience. A lot of people are familiar with indoor karting, but those are all electric. Ours are gas powered. Electric carts are very controlled in how fast they'll let you go. Plus, the track's really small. My rental car track is half of a mile long. Takes the average person about 50 seconds to do a lap. And so it's thrilling. It's unlike anything else here in Houston.
What kind of engines are on those?
They have a little Honda, like a Honda GX270 it's called. It's essentially a generator engine, about 9.5 horsepower.
How many horsepower?
9.5.
9.5?
That's quite a bit.
That's a lot. I'm used to the old Briggs & Stratton 2 horsepower lawnmower motors.
3.5 with the blower.
Yeah.
That's it. And I assume that got a centrifugal clutch on it?
Yeah. Yep. Pretty simple, gas and brake. That's all you have to worry about.
Yeah. Well, that's what it's all about. So I was involved for a while up at Houston Motorsports Park, and there was a group, I think they're out of Austin, and these are grown men on go-karts going really fast on a 3/8 mile asphalt banked oval, and what an absolute blast. And I'm just watching them go on, and they all know each other. They're all friends. They all help each other. But when they get out of the track, it's a whole different thing.
Absolutely. That's racing in general, right? The racing community is, we're all a tight-knit family, and everyone knows everybody, and everyone's helpful and friendly. But when you strap on the helmet and jump in the car, it's game on. And so everyone wants to win and do their best.
Well, you had mentioned in your resume here, sprint, road racing, and oval. Now, I don't tell me what the difference is. Well, obviously, sprint is what?
So my kart track right here, the one that's behind me, is a sprint track. So an average sprint track is call it a small road course, right?
Yeah.
My track is 0.8 of a mile, 15 corners. That's a sprint track. Road racing is when we take and go to Road America, Road Atlanta, Laguna Seca, any of those big tracks, those are called road racing.
Wow, and you take the carts on those big tracks like that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And what kind of speeds do you get up on those?
Well, it turns out I own the all-out lap record at Road America, which is, I don't know if you're familiar with Road America, but it's a 4-mile road course. and I was in a 250 twin supercart that made about 100 horsepower, and it went north of 150 miles an hour.
Yeah.
With no roll bar and no sides, and you're just sitting out there all by yourself.
Yeah. No, it's kind of crazy. To be fair, I would never let my kid do it, and I wouldn't do it anymore. I'm a little more mature and wiser now, I suppose, but I can't believe I did. It was always a bucket list of mine to be able to race what's called a supercart, and finally got to do that for a couple of years, and it's so fast. You wouldn't believe how fast they are, but I did that. I'm not doing that again.
Well, I worked with a guy by the name of Lee Beard, who is a drag racing legend, and he was a driver early on, and then he went on to be a crew chief. And one or two of his sons, I think, were really into the competitive go-kart. And I remember him talking about the fact that it was really a step toward open wheel racing. And so many of the open wheel guys actually start in go-karts like you were talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say every Formula One driver did karting and still does. Most IndyCar guys, believe it or not, even NASCAR guys, the majority of them, you either pick one of two routes. You either pick karting or you pick roundy round, something of starting bandoleros and move on to midgets and sprint cars or whatever. Or in Chase Elliott's case, he started off in karting. They did karting and then moved on to stock cars and the ARCA type things. So he kind of did it all.
What is it about go-karting that is so relative and actually one of those things that all of these people that you hear about, these famous people, go to go-karting? What is it about the go-kart that is so relatable to moving up into actual full-blown race cars?
Well, for me, you can start at a very young age. Believe it or not, karting here at our track starts at 5 years old. The first age group is 5 to 7 or 8 years old, and they just keep on going. So you can start at a very young age. To me, it's one of the purest and rawest forms of racing next to, call it sprint cars, There's a reason Kyle Larson constantly does races sprint cars and late models and all that other stuff. And so for me, karting has always been like the purest wheel-to-wheel action. By the time these kids turn 16, they've had 8 years or 9 years of racing experience under their belt, and it makes it real easy to make things happen in a go-kart so much faster
to jump to the next level
in a real race car.
Yep.
The closest thing to the fastest go-kart out there is what we refer to as a shifter kart. The closest thing to a shifter kart is really somewhere about IndyCar or Formula One level. And so in terms of how quick things happen, the endurance level that it takes, and so jump out of a go-kart and jump into a car, and a car almost feels slow motion. So these kids that have 8 years of racing under their belt, by the time they jump in a car, it almost seems effortless.
I worked with a gentleman, Jim McMurray, when I was with Keystone. His son was Jamie McMurray.
Yeah, Jamie and I are longtime friends.
Jamie started out in shifter karts, and I think his first NASCAR run was in the Craftsman truck, and then he took over Sterling Marlin's ride, number 27, and then progressed through his own skills and whatnot. Now he's a commentator. But yeah, I've known Jamie when he was in shifter karts. Imagine that.
Yeah. Now Jamie and Jamie's from Joplin, Missouri. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, and we grew up as kids racing together all the time. His dad's still involved in go-karting.
Jim is a character.
Yeah.
So why would a professional race car driver, let's just use it NASCAR, run a race on an oval track and then go back to karting? Is it just to keep the skills honed?
Yeah, it's skill set and your reaction time and the physical training. And now, to be honest, the NASCAR runs a lot of road courses.
Yes.
And one of the key successes to being successful on the road course is knowing how to do it. I mean, and loving to do it. If you ask Chase Elliott, why he's so successful on the road courses, is because he just loves driving a road course.
Now, are those shifter karts that they use on the road courses?
Either one, shifter, non-shifter, any of that stuff.
Really? And with the shifter karts, now, what kind of a transmission does it have? And how do you shift it?
Well, think of it like a motorcycle. It used to be motorcycle, like a CR 125 motorcycle dirt bike engine.
Yep.
And the gear shift lever is hooked to a rod that's up by the steering wheel. And it's just forward and back like you would motorcycle.
I got you.
Or like a
Nowadays,
paddle shifter. Yeah.
Yeah, that paddle, people have rigged up paddles in the past. The problem is karting is so physically demanding as it is. The moment you start doing this all the time, then you get crazy arm pump. And it's just not as quick of an action by just grabbing the correct rod and boom, 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 boom. It happens so fast.
Is there a clutch on it?
Yeah, I mean, just it's like a motorcycle.
Yep.
It's a motorcycle engine, right?
Interesting.
So
Yeah.
the clutch lever is up by the steering wheel, but the only time you ever use it is to start the race. So the unique thing about shifter karts is the way they start the race is Formula One style. We're all lined up, stacked up, and then the green flag throws, and everyone can dump the clutch. Away you go. You shift without the clutch.
How much fun!
Kind of like
is
a clutch flight. You know, the old clutch flights you'd rig up to where launch with a clutch, and then after that you just shift it like an automatic.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Wow.
All right, we're all coming out to your place.
Do you give lessons? I mean, you know, if I've got a 5-year-old and I want to get him exposed to karting, do you have an entry level lesson thing going on up there?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's part of the resume you read there. It mentioned Alan Ruff Racing Academy. So that's my school. I teach people how to drive, and that's from the 5 or 6 year old that you mentioned that just wants to get into it to somebody that's more advanced and has years of experience. But the day to day, to be honest, I do classes every day. That's called a kart racing experience, and guys like you can come out, bring a couple buddies, and I get you right behind the wheel of one of our 125cc Rotax single speed go-karts, not a shifter.
Right.
And it's a little 2-hour program. It's $249, and we get to ride out on track, do a little safety briefing, and away we go.
So would it have room for Don's oxygen tanks?
My oxygen tank.
Just asking.
You could disguise it as nitrous.
As a little older guy, but no, but like a 5-year-old, is it? Do you have smaller carts or pedal extensions?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for each of the categories, from that 5 to 7, 8-year-old range is called a kid cart, and it's small. And then from 7/8 up to 12, they're in what's called a cadet cart. It's sort of a medium-sized cart. And then anything 12 and above, you're in what's referred as a full.
Okay.
Yeah, well, Don's a new grandfather, and he's got plans for the grandson.
Clearly do. Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of which, so let me ask you this: Do you have like a gift certificate program? I mean,
yeah, you can on our website
Christmas
you can buy
presents.
gift certificates on there for both the classes and our arrive and drive. It's just a gift certificate that can be used for the facilities. That's on our website. Great for gift buying ideas for birthdays, Christmas. We sell a lot of gift cards at Christmas time and stuff.
yeah, my son's old enough that he got a full-time job and everything. Grown man buys what he wants, and so I have a hard time getting him things that are kind of different.
There you go.
And that's what popped into my mind. I said, man,
It's usually bail money.
they'll make
though.
up for all this. Exactly.
That would be a great gift.
No doubt. Alan, it's a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
How do we find out more information about the Speedsportz Racing Park?
Go to the website. It's simple, speedsportsracingpark.com, and that's Speedsportz with a Z. There's a Z on the end. It's part of our logo, so Speedsportz with a Z on the end, racingpark.com.
Yeah, I've just posted it on our social media.
We'll be in touch. Thank you. Maybe we'll come out one day and just and have a tear it up out there. Well, maybe
Please
not
do.
tear it up, but
No, don't tear it up. You're not allowed to tear it up.
we'll tear it up. Well, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Alan, thanks again. Take care of yourself.
It's cool.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that.
I'm thinking Kylie.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. His granddaughter.
Well, there's also the mini dragsters too that was fitted in last year.
Yep. Time now for the cruise-in calendar, and Conrad has that.
I got more than one.
Okay.
More than one calendar?
But just don't make it any more than a minute.
Muffin and Mufflers at Darlin's Diner in Flatonia, Texas, is this afternoon at 11 to 4. Everybody's got a new name. And, of course, Nifty 50s on Buckthorn Place in the Woodlands is tonight from 3 to 10. Shootout Saturday at Houston Motorsports Park is this afternoon. Starts at 4 p.m. Night Lights is 5 to 9 p.m. Off of Gessner Road in Houston. The Cypress West Houston Vintage Car Meetup at the Twisty Treat at Fry Road in Cypress, Texas starts at 6 p.m. tonight. Wheels and Wine at Bordeaux Vino Wine Bar
Oh, there you go.
at Research Forest in the Woodlands starts tonight at 6 p.m. Tomorrow is classic car show. That's hard to read. 707 Del Webb Boulevard in Richmond, Texas. The Car Church at the Segundo Coffee Lab at 711 Milby in Houston. And then the Tomball Locals Car Meet at Coles at 2920 in Tomball. And that's tomorrow night at 7 p.m.
Thank you, sir. Time now for this hour's car review. Had a chance to drive the 2023 Lexus ES 350. Here are the trim levels that are available. It starts off as the ES 350. That's the base trim level. Then it goes to luxury, ultra luxury, F Sport Design, and F Sport Handling. I had the F Sport H, which stands for handling. This is a compact sedan, seats 5 people, including the driver, all new for 2019. Spindle grille with lots of sharp angled lighting features, fastback sedan design, very swoopy and very aero. F Sport includes trunk-mounted spoiler, yep, on a Lexus, on an ES. Chrome dual exhaust tips mounted in the Aero Valance panel. What I liked about it, the overall look, very swoopy, a long 4-door saloon. Ooh, what could use improvement? Nothing. Interior highlights, beautiful new 12-inch infotainment touchscreen, and I want to underscore that because they have finally
Got rid of the mouse pad on the...
Yes.
Thank you, Lexus.
Thank you. The dash has angled design elements that mix well with its features. Wraparound, comfortable bucket seats. Mark Levinson sound system. This thing is just awesome. Trunk room, large, with a kind of a small opening, but that's just the way that these cars are these days. What I liked about it, no more touchpad controller for the infotainment system. Way to go, Lexus. What could use improvement? Help me find something. I can't find anything. I just love this car. 3.5-liter V6 engine.
More horsepower.
Nope. 302 horsepower, 267 pound-feet of torque, 8-speed automatic transmission. It's rated for 22 miles per gallon in the city, 31 on the highway, for a combined of 25. I got 27.7 miles per gallon over 423.9 miles. What I liked, perfectly matched power and transmission.
Well, that's good.
Don't change it. Ride and handling. Controllable, luxurious ride quality.
Swoopy.
That's what he said.
But
Swoopy
not
saloon.
yeah, but not a big cush machine like the old Buicks. You just kind of float across. No, wasn't it all very controlled? Pricing. Base trim price is $47,800. To me, that's a bargain, my friend. That's the trim price.
Mm-hmm.
Price is tested $53,775.
That's
Still
not a
not
big
bad
jump,
at all,
yeah.
yeah.
Base model price $41,440
For Lexus.
for a Lexus
Not bad.
ES 350. Competitors: the Acura TLX for $39,850, the Volvo S60 for $41,300, and the Audi A4 for $39,900. All right there in that sweet spot. And I liked it. I like the affordability of it, and I love the luxury of it. And I am typically not necessarily going toward the luxury model. Don Armstrong, would buy this car.
It's a nice car.
I would buy that car.
If somebody'd loan you the money.
Well, for 53, that's really not bad. That's
no.
it's not bad at all.
No. Most SUVs these days,
Oh, well north of that.
well north of
65
that.
at
This
least.
thing
yeah.
is sweet. Sweet.
I got a birthday coming up, Mike.
It's about the fifth time he said that.
Yeah, I'm going to make it. I'm going to write it down.
Why does he keep saying that?
Well, for
Because he's got a birthday coming up and he wants us to
we
buy him a
just
car.
Pool of money, and maybe that El Dorado
Buy you a
Barrettes would be
pool?
nice. Pool would be nice. Yeah.
There is a story that I have to get in here. This is not typically our automotive news segment, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Uh-oh.
Ready?
Here we go.
This is from this morning, automotive news.
Sit tight, Mike. Strap it on.
Prosecutors have charged 11 men with stealing 86 vehicles worth more than $5 million from several Ohio dealerships. The suspects are accused of taking expensive, high-powered models such as Dodge Charger SRT Hellcats and Jeep Grand Cherokee Trailhawks from 26 dealerships over 5 months. One showroom was robbed 3 times. A 142-count indictment unsealed last week includes charges of racketeering, conspiracy, grand theft, felonious assault, and aggravated robbery. 90 of the charges were filed against one man, 20-year-old Macklin Wilson, who was arrested in February after police said he led them on a high-speed chase in a stolen Dodge Durango SRT Hellcat.
Wow.
He and 8 other defendants, ages 18 to 22, were in custody last week, according to the Plains dealer in Cleveland.
No video?
Prosecutors said the men scoped out the dealerships during the day to locate security cameras and key fobs before going back overnight to steal the vehicles. Police believe they stole a total of 126 cars, but the charges relate only to 86 that were later found. One Mercedes-Benz was allegedly driven to Michigan and sold for $4,500.
Wow.
They were giving them away.
To Felonious.
To felonious. Blood and DNA found on broken glass at 2 dealerships helped tie the men to the thefts, along with information gathered from cell phones and social media posts. At one dealership, prosecutors said some of the men gave a salesperson their real names while casing the showroom before stealing from them the same night.
Those are real villains in Ohio.
Villains and stupid.
They left DNA behind.
Yeah. There's
in
that.
Ohio. So, yeah, you want to steal a car, go to Ohio.
The N-Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available 24/7 through the iHeartRadio app. Just look for N-Wheel Time Car Talk. We also video stream on Facebook, YouTube, and nwheeltime.com. Podcasts at your fingertips on over a dozen of the most popular podcast outlets. The N-Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues right after these brief messages. Everyone at the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In at the Lupe Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, thank you for participating in the best cruise-in around and look forward to seeing you again. You'll hear about the next cruise-in date right here on N-Wheel Time. Next time you're in the West Houston Energy Corridor area, be sure and stop in at the original Lupe Tortilla Tex-Mex at I-10 and Highway 6 or the Katy location on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard. When passing through Beaumont or College Station, stop in and have Lupe's award-winning beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. There's always a celebration at Lupe Tortilla. Lupe Tortilla founder Stan Holt and his wife Sheila are winning racers on the NHRA drag racing circuit and have a collection of hot rods and classics that everyone appreciates. Look for them at the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In. The date will be announced soon and will once again be held at the Lupe Tortilla Tex-Mex on 99 and Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10 and Katy. We'll give you all the details right here on the N-Wheel Time Car Talk Show and online. Donations benefit God's Garage. We'll see you then. You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. The award-winning N-Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available on the most popular podcast channels out there in 30-minute episodes. We realize our 3-hour live show can be difficult to catch in its entirety, so now you can listen every day to a convenient, fresh 30-minute episode. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Audible, along with a dozen more. In Wheel Time has the most informative automotive guest interviews and new car reviews, along with popular features including Conrad's Car Clinic and This Week in Auto History, along with automotive news headlines. Our live broadcast airs every Saturday, 8 to 11 Central on InWheelTime.com, the iHeart app, and on YouTube. Be sure to say hello when we're broadcasting from the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise Inn, Autorama, and the Houston Auto Show, among others. Now, it's easier than ever to hear about all things automotive all week long. You're invited to join fellow car enthusiasts in becoming part of the ever-growing In Wheel Time Car Talk family. Don't forget those 30-minute podcast episodes on your favorite podcast channel. That's it for this podcast episode of the In Wheel Time Car Show. I'm Don Armstrong, inviting you to join us for our live show every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and our InWheelTime.com website. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeart Podcast, Podcast Addict, TuneIn, Pandora, and Amazon Music. Keep listening, and we'll see you soon.